we've got to talk about the crazy Gen Z gender divide, right? Because, well, obviously, men and women have always had some differences in what they value, what they prioritize, career versus family, stability versus status, blah, blah, blah. This recent polling we're seeing, it is more divided than ever, and it's pulled even wider because of politics. And actually, on the note of politics, that's where we'll start, with the approval ratings around President Trump, around specific topics. Right, so for this age group, 18 to 29-year-olds, 47% of these men said that they somewhat or strongly approved of the president's job performance. So for women, it was only 26%. For border security and immigration, you had 46% of men, 24% of women. For deportations and immigration, 45% of men, 21% of women. On trade, 42% of men, 23% of women. And inflation and cost of living, 41% of men and 21% of women. Then, regarding anxiety, we've heard things about Gen Z being a very anxious generation, but the numbers here are wild. When asked in general, how often do you feel anxious or worried about the future? 19% of men and 33% of women said almost all the time, followed by 27% of men and 33% of women saying most of the time. And then you had 39% of men and 28% of women saying sometimes they feel anxious or worried, and for rarely and never, very small numbers. But then I'd say the most interesting information we got here was when all of these people were asked which of the following is important to your personal definition of success. And they gave them these 13 options, which you can pause on screen if you want to read every single one of them. And then from all those answers, they provided a ranking of what was important, not just split by men and women, split by men and women and who they voted for, Harris or Trump. The gap here is wild. For men who voted for Trump, the number one thing they said is pivotal to their personal definition of success is having children. But for the women who voted for Harris, it was number 12 out of 13. And even for women who voted for Trump, it was number 6. But then also when connected to this, as far as the ranking for being married for men who voted for Trump, that was number 4. But for women, it came in 11th for Harris voters and 9th for Trump voters, which is actually where it also came in for men who voted for Harris. So a lot of huge gaps, though. I will say also, interestingly, there were a number of things that did seem to line up. Right? For having a job or career you find fulfilling, that took a lot of the top spots across the board. Right? Having enough money to do the things that you want to do. Also achieving financial independence. There's a lot of money anxiety here. Again, we do see certain partisan things pop up, like emotional stability. It was much higher for Harris voters than it was for Trump voters.